Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Developers 2.0. So this is video number 5 of Telescope Contest Question Solution. And within this playlist, we are solving the Telescope Contest assignment that has been provided by the Navin Reddy sir. When I had written, so within this video, we're going to see an annotation concept of within Java. Even I had written one Medium blog. You can get it from the description box. I'm going to paste the link in my description of this video. So go get that Medium blog link and explore the blog on an in-depth guide to annotation in Java with a focus on Spring Boot and the RestController. Okay, so within this video, we're going to see an annotation concept. Along with this, we're going to see what are the different annotation that we have within Java, like built-in annotation in the component, custom build annotation, and even built-in annotation within core Java. What are the different annotation that we have overcome till now? So let's get started with our annotation concept video. Okay. So suppose I have one class. So first of all, what is annotation? An annotation is a mechanism or annotation in Java as powerful or the flexible mechanism for adding the metadata to a particular element of the Java code. And what are the element? The element might be my class, the element might be my method, or the element might be field of the Java class. So in if somebody asks like what is annotation? So annotation is a mechanism of storing metadata or the extra information about the different element in the Java. And the element might be class, it might be method, or it might be the field type. Okay, so let's get started. And the annotation, we define annotation by adding this at the rate at the beginning of the uh, annotation keyword. So suppose this is Spring Boot application, this is an built-in annotation. So we have defined this annotation by adding at the rate symbol at the starting. So we have different built-in annotation, like at the rate override is there, at deprecated annotation is there, suppress warning annotation is there, functional interface is there. So we in this video we'll see an example for override. Like suppose what is the use of override annotation? So you are building an application where you need to extend some property or extend some functionality from the parent class, and you need to add some more functionality to that inherited property of the methods. So what you will do? Suppose I am going to have one class here, class parent. Okay. Within this, I'll define some method like public void show, and here I'll print that this is parent. And you are asked to build one class child which will extend all the property of parent, which will extend all the property of parent. Okay, my bad. And you will define some more functionality of the property to that extended or the inherited methods or the values. Okay, so you are supposed to build one inherited method show system. So system.out.println, this is child. Now, if I create an object of child C is equal to new child, I'll call show method. So this will call my child show method. This is child. But if I don't have this method, it will call my parent show method that this is parent. So you are supposed to build an like you are supposed to override the existing method that is show. But while overriding method, you have misspelled some method name. Suppose show W is capital over here, and here we have everything in the lowercase, but here we have W as in uppercase. So now if I'll execute this, I'm going to get an output as in that this is parent, because this one going to override the functionality. But if we add annotation over here that we are overriding, here we are defining that we are overriding the existing functionality of parent. So here we're going to see an error that this method is not been defined in the parent. So please rename it accordingly. Like if we name, like we are going to rename this as an show all in lowercase, then we're going to get an output that this is child, and even the error has been vanished over here. So that add override annotation will going to help developer to minimize the error or minimize the uh, improper output to the user. Like if we are building as a developer, we are building some solution for an user only, and if we build a wrong solution, then user won't going to get an expected output. So in order to get an expected output, we are supposed to use some built-in annotation in order to minimize the uh, human error that we do while coding. Even we have an at the rate deprecated or annotation as well. So this annotation has been used to define that the method or the function has been deprecated. This will no longer be enabled like within the Java. So don't use this method or function. Okay. So it serves as a warning to a developer that the annotation element should no longer be used as it may be removed or replaced in future work. So next we're going to see a suppress warning. So suppress warning annotation is used to suppress compiler warning for specific code elements. So if we have some warnings over here, here we can see that we have some warnings. The value of the local variable context is not used. So what I'll do, I'll add here suppress warning annotation. Okay, suppress warning add missing attribute. We need to define the values of here, and we can define that suppress the warning for the timing. And here you can see that the warning has been suppressed now with the blue over there. And we'll add context to this suppress warning that will do the changes in the future version of this solution. Okay. And then we're going to have a built-in annotation that is there within Spring Boot and the RestController. So here we can see that we have @ Spring Boot application. But before annotation concept, we were using the XML file to store and configure the things within Spring MVC as well as in the Spring framework. So we'll be defining like before annotation. Suppose you don't want to use annotation within Spring framework, so you need to define all the configuration in the XML file. And within XML file, you need to define that this is my bin, this is my component, this is the service or the controller, like this are the servlets. If this URL is going to hit, then I need to map to this class, so that all logical operation has been defined. Like all the configuration has been defined in XML, but post having the annotation concept, We no longer need to write that XML. We don't need to handle that XML code anymore because that already been handled by the Java itself internally, or the Spring framework itself internally. So this Spring Boot annotation, Spring Boot application annotation is almost a combination of the functionality of three annotation, that is at the rate enable auto configuration, at the rate components scan, and at the rate configuration. So this Spring Boot application is almost equivalent to at the rate enable configuration, at the rate component scan, and at the rate configuration. So this Spring Boot annotation, Spring Boot application annotation is equivalent to this three annotation. So each annotation have its own meaning, like at the rate enable configuration, at the rate component scan, and at the rate configuration. So component scan will scan the container of Spring, like it will scan the Spring container, like what all beans object do we have within Spring container, and how do we can use that Spring container object or the Spring container bean object. And enable auto configuration is something that enables the configuration in order to start a Spring Boot application. So, and at the rate configuration annotation indicates that the class is a configuration class, which is used to define the bins and other Spring configuration elements. So we all have seen, we all have heard more about the at the rate bean configuration within Spring Boot, that this is being like if we are auto wiring something, wait, I'll show you. Suppose here I had used at the rate auto wire and I had defined that product service. So I'm getting this service object from the Spring container itself because I had used auto wired over here. And over the product service, I had used service annotation defining that this is my service component. So create a bean file accordingly. Okay. So what is bean basically? So bean is it tells a Spring that to instantiate and manage the annotated method and return the value as a bean. So it will basically going to return an object in order to have a loose coupling within Java project. So we have covered annotation, auto-wired annotation as well. So even it allows the automatic injection, dependency injection. So we're going to have a loose coupling within the Java project. And as I have told you that Spring Boot annotation is equivalent to enable auto configuration or at the rate component scan. So component scan is something, suppose I had defined some source file in this package com.telescope.contest and some source file in the com.telescope.controller instead of contest. So component scan will be used in order to fetch the parallel packages sources as well. Like, do we have any other bean object in other package as well? Yeah. So we can define. So we could define the package name in component scan, like scan this package as well and get the bean object if we have any bean object specified with there. Even we have qualifier at the rate qualifier. Wait, I'll type and show like at the rate qualifier. So this is something which has been used by suppose I have two bean object for the same file, for the same object. I'll show you. Oh, yeah. So we have entity as a product, as well as if I have instantiated or if I have created two object or two bean object for this product, then how to vary like how to distinguish between that two product object. Like in order to define that to the Spring that I want object one of that bean object, not an object two. So we're going to use an @ qualifier annotation over there. And this @ service @ controller or rest controller. Rest controller is something which has been used in order to handle the different mappings of the API call that we have at the backend. So we have @ component, controller, service, and the repository. And the basic difference between these four are like if we are defining the class as an @ component, then we are defining it as a generic stereotype annotation. But if we are defining classes and controller, then we are making marking that here we have defined as a REST controller, even REST controller, because we want to make sure to treat Spring, like we are defining Spring that use this class as an controller. And if some request come for this request URL, so hit this method and do the operation that has been defined in this method. Likewise, we have service component as well. So these are different layered component. This is not the generic component. And the use of having the layered component within Spring is we're going to have a good architect of the product. So here we have defined @ service component, and here the reason why we have defined @ service component is because we are doing some operations, the logical operation that delete something, add something, or some sort of logical operation, business operation that we want to perform within this class. Hence, we have layered this component, or hence we have marked this class as in surface. Then creating a custom-based annotation. Suppose so. Now we are starting with the custom-based annotation. If somebody asks like create a custom annotation for a certain project, so how you create, how you're going to create that annotation? So annotation is an interface type of thing. So interface demo annotation. Okay. And here I'll going to define that this is my uh, string metadata. String metadata, and the default value I'll attach this metadata is meta information. Okay, my bad. I don't know why this is not coming, but we can use default in order to attach default value to our metadata. So here we have defined a demo annotation as an custom built annotation, and we have given one field to this. Like we're going to have one metadata field where we have defaulted value that this is going to have a meta information. So before starting it, I'll show you. We need to have the target set to this interface or an annotation, as well as we need to set the retention policy. So we'll define a target like to which I want to this annotation get attached. So I'll define the target, like is it for a field type method or is it for class? If it's for class, then we need to define as an element type dot type. And also we need to define like as we have seen that we have override. Uh, so override is an compile time. Okay. So we need to define the retention policy with here. Like is it for runtime or is it the annotation will be for the compile time? So here we're going to define the runtime as a retention policy. And I'll create one class over here, class demo, which we're going to have a method void show, which will print here show. Okay. And I want to attach this annotation over here. So I'll just add at the rate over here and demo annotation. That's how we attach annotation to the class or to a method. So if I want to fetch this annotation value, like the metadata attached to this demo class, so how we can do so? So in order to get the values that has been there for this class, like the metadata or the extra information which has been attached to this class. So we could have the object for my demo, 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 new demo. Okay. And I'll get the class object for the same. Like demo dot get class. So once we have a class object with us, what we can do, we can go ahead and we could get the annotation object, which is being attached to this class. So in order to do so, what we can do, we can have an annotation class over here as an annotation demo. And we could get the annotation or the extra information which is attached to this class. So I'll make use of this C demo, that is my class demo, and I'll get the annotation. And I need to define the annotation as well. Like my annotation name was demo annotation dot class. So we have annotation in our annotation, but it's in parent annotation. So we need to downcast this object. So in order to do so, what we can do, we can have demo annotation, dm demo, and we can downcast this annotation object, demo annotation, an underscore demo. So we have downcasted this annotation in order to get the metadata that has been attached to this demo annotation. So I want my metadata that has been attached to my metadata. The metadata that we have defined over here, we're going to get the metadata that has been attached to my demo class. So the moment I run this, I'm going to get an output as a meta information because we have defaulted the metadata value as a meta information. But I don't want to get the defaulted value. I want the custom value for the same. So I'll define the metadata over here as in this is my demo metadata. The moment I run the same application, I'm going to get metadata as in this is my demo metadata. The same thing we can apply to the method as well. Like if I want to attach the metadata to method level, what we can do, we can have demo annotation over here, and we can define metadata. This is my method metadata. Okay, but here I'm getting like we are getting an error. So in order to overcome this error, what we are supposed to do, we need to define, like we need to set the target, because we have set the target as in type while defining an annotation. So we have restricted our annotation to class level, but if we want to use at method level as well, so what we need to do, we need to define like within curly braces that I want to use this for method level as well. So element type is for method level as well. Here you can see that still we are getting the class metadata value only. So in order to fetch the method level information of that annotation, what we can do, we can have our method class and demo, and here we have the demo object over here, and here we have fetch the class object from the demo. So what we can do, we can make use of this, and we can get the method. So for which method we want to get the metadata? We want to get the metadata for the show method. So I'll define here that I want method object for this show. We need to throw a declaration like if no such method. So we have thrown all the exception. I don't want to handle it right now. So I had just thrown that through exception. So once we have a method object with us of the show method for the demo class, what we can do, we can go ahead and we could get the annotation for the same. We will do the same like annotation an method demo. Okay, and we will do the same like my m dot demo, like m underscore demo. This is my method get annotation for this, and I'll define the annotation name demo annotation dot class, and here I'll going to downcast the my annotation to demo annotation. dm method demo, downcast this to demo annotation, and the object is an method demo. Okay, so here we're going to print the metadata that has been attached to my show method. So in order to do so, what we'll do, we'll make use of this dm method demo dot metadata. Now the time we execute the R program. Okay, we have received, we had got an exception, like no such method, no such method exception. Okay, what's wrong with this program? We have show. Yes, we have show method. I need to define it as a public. Okay, fine. So here we have received metadata that has been attached to class. Like this is my demo method. This is my demo metadata, and the as well as the metadata that has been attached to my show method. Like this is my method metadata. Okay, so that's how we built our custom annotation within Java. So thanks for watching this video. Do like this video and do subscribe our channel for more updates.